Welcome to Absolutely Marvel and DC. My name is Benny, that is Sal, and that is Dylan. We like to get together on a nearly daily basis and talk about our favorite Marvel and DC TV shows, movies, news, video games, pretty much anything that wouldn't exist on our current channels, Comic Pop, Comic Storian, and Orm's Comics. This is the channel where we just have a nice, fun... Is it Corner again? Is it Orm's Corner again?
When I changed it to the one that you got wrong, now you only say the old one.
God damn it. But anyway, this is just our fun podcast discussion channel where we discuss all the theories and stuff. And if you like this type of content, consider sticking around. But make sure you enjoy our opinions first. So anyway, today we're going to talk about What If Episode 4. What if Doctor Strange, I think it's gave up his heart instead of his...
Lost his heart instead of his hands, yeah.
Okay. The title's makes a lot of sense later, but it also, the title made me feel like they were reaching. They were definitely reaching.
Yes.
Sure.
To make it sound catchy.
Well, they had to change all of reality to make it fit, where they're like, okay, so what if his hands weren't smashed? Great idea. No. What if his relationship with Rachel McAdams was entirely different at the start,
Yes.
and it allowed us to make the what if we wanted to make. That's a long title. Can you come up with something a little more jazzy?
So, give you the quick recap as I normally do. This is the story of Doctor Strange getting into the car crash and his girlfriend dying. He does all the normal Doctor Strange stuff, but eventually decides he wants to alter time and bring her back, and how that path leads to him destroying everything and battling against himself. That's your recap, so let's discuss it. This is, from a story standpoint, I thought this story was incredible. I thought it was probably the best one to date. The presentation, the concept, all of it had me hooked almost immediately. I paid attention for the entire 30 minutes without being distracted. I love the direction it went. In terms of a what if, it seems very flimsy that his hands weren't damaged, but he was trying to revive her, and all the same stuff happened.
Yeah. I mean, listen, they don't want to waste time, but they also want him to be Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's just say that he did all the same stuff.
Exactly.
And I mean, that's this episode is so classic what if to me. As someone who's read a lot of what if books. Like that's what happens, is like they just... Yeah. Everything was normal up until a certain point, even if like the inception of it was different.
Right.
And they also talk a lot in this episode about absolute points in time. That's kind of the entire point. So, there are things that cannot be changed in certain multiverses, which is something that the Ancient One has always talked about since we've seen her in the MCU. So, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really hammered in the absolute point, but what I liked about this episode was the twist. Like, unlike the other what ifs, this had a twist at the end where it was revealed that the Ancient One had actually separated him.
Right.
Because when it's going through at the time, I was like, well, this is a cool idea. But when he started absorbing all the entities of magic, I'm like, well, we're just going to end with him being evil, and that's the end of the story. Only to find out, no, there's two of you now. She did a thing.
I think that was more earned than the reveal of who the killer was in the last episode. Like, this was more of a like, I kind of dug that because it also thematically works in terms of, he's trying to fulfill this thing inside of himself. Like, he's trying to get power, but he's also trying to like fill the void of himself being split in twain. Like, that all that worked for me. Yeah.
How did you feel about the big twist for this one, Dylan?
I agree. I think it was definitely better than the twist in the previous episode. Even though that one was fun, it just didn't really like make much sense. Didn't feel
that's
earned.
the thing, is we all had fun watching that episode, but then he's like, it's hope, and I'm like, you didn't set that up, but okay, fine.
But this one's all about like magic and nonsense, and like when you throw the Ancient One and time travel in there, it's like, yeah, sure, like something can come out of nowhere, and like. We would be having the same complaints if it was like, oh, also I brought Captain America from the future to come kick your ass. It's like, what?
Right.
But that didn't happen. It was just Doctor Strange again.
Yeah. No, there were so many great like pure what if moments, like you said earlier. It's just the Watcher appearing and him being like, do something, and he's like, sorry, I can't do it.
I love that.
No chill, Doc. Gotta go.
I love that this is the first time we acknowledge the Watcher. Like, I thought it was just going to be that nod when he's like, I wish I could do something, and Strange was like, huh?
Yeah.
And then, he's yelling to him at the ending, like, stop this! Like, Wow, that is so Watcher, so What If, so...
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to capitalize on that, or this is going to be the only time the Watcher
I think they are. I think
I-
this is because we've kind of been snowballing. If you look, like the first episode was incredibly self-contained.
Yeah.
The second one is more cosmic. We don't really see the Watcher at all. The third one, he starts to appear in the background. He doesn't say anything,
Yeah.
but he's there. And
Watching.
now he's watching, and now he's talking to people. So I think this is the. Are there 2 more episodes or 4 more episodes?
9.
I think it's
There's
9 episodes.
total.
There's
so
not-
5
okay.
more.
So this is close to the midpoint. So
Yeah,
that
midpoint is
makes
5.
sense that it would be like we're ramping up. I think now it's starting to put its foot down as like this is MCU. This is gonna lead to something.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
As opposed to just like a fun Marvel thing, which I think is really cool. And I love the Watcher.
Yeah.
I think we could have a whole discussion on like this version of the Watcher and like where he fits in. Because for those that don't
Right.
know, the Watchers are a multiversal thing. So
Yeah.
this guy knows the one that died in the comics, probably. We don't know who he is, but
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be a great discussion. So make sure you check back because that will be coming out. Now, that Dilla just threw himself under the bus as having to set up what that talking point's going to be.
sure.
I know we talk about it every episode, and I don't want to harp on the negativity of it this time because we do talk about it every episode. But the voice acting, the reason I'm even bringing it up is when it started, this is Benedict Cumberbatch, right? That is him.
Yes.
Yes.
It is
Okay.
totally him.
When it starts, it feels like he didn't know what he was doing, and by the ending, I could feel him in the role.
Getting
Like,
comfortable.
yeah, it's like they didn't do multiple takes. That's what it felt like to me. Like it's like if you ever see me record the audio for Comic Storian, if I do it too early in the morning, it doesn't feel right, and that's what
Right.
it seemed like to me with the audio in this. At the start where he's talking to her, I'm like, oh, he can't do voice acting. And by about 5-10 minutes in, when things were rolling, I'm like, I feel his emotion. I feel like he's got it on point. He knows what he's
Yeah.
doing. I really feel like he just walked into a booth, one take through the whole script, and they were just, all right, we got it. See you later.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and what's ironic is, of course, like he has done voice acting. He played Smaug
Right.
and other voice roles before, but I mean, I don't know. He did okay as himself, you know?
Yeah, he was
but-
himself. Yeah.
Right? Like he's playing his own character, and he did an okay job. It was similar, I think, with Sam Jackson, where I'm like, you're better than this, but I'll allow it. You know? Like,
Yeah.
because I liked it. There are moments that shine, and then there are moments that aren't quite there. And there are also a couple of moments where I'm like, oh, like I remember being a little worried, like, oh, let's hire a British person to play Doctor Strange. You know, he's from New York. You know, they can't all be Hugh Laurie, but he does a nice job. But you can hear him like not try as hard to obscure
Yeah.
his English accent in this particular episode, which I'm like, all right, whatever, who cares?
Yeah,
Just-
I definitely noticed, and I feel like it might have something to do with I don't know, because I feel like a lot of actors, they get into it. I mean, just anyone, if you're like dressed up in a whole thing, like it's easier to get into the role.
Yes.
And like his voice felt more like he was just doing an American accent as opposed to like it's very gravelly in the movies, his
Yeah.
accent, and it's
Yeah.
very like bassy, and I didn't feel that as much in here. So I don't know. It honestly, at some points I was questioning whether it comes down to just like the EQing and the microphones that they used.
That's fair.
'Cause it's very like it's close, but it just doesn't have enough of that kick. That
Yeah.
like maybe that was a choice. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
well,
weird.
And
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to bring it up, though, because we have been basically shitting on the voice acting in the last 3 with the general.
That's a bit extreme.
Yeah.
But we have been.
that's
We've
what
been
the
like,
comments say, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we have been kind of critiquing it to an extent, but I liked it in this one. I actually felt like after the first 5 minutes, he warmed up and was on point, and everything felt good. I felt the emotion. I felt him doing it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this was the best voice acted episode. The ancient one was monotone as always. If they had messed that up, I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah. The Ancient One, man. The MCU loves their Ancient One, a character that, for all intents and purposes, needs to just be created to die. They keep using her like she's a big
Because it's
deal.
Tilda
and I'm
Swinton. You have
we got
to.
Tilda Swinton. Like, how about you just be happy with Doctor Strange and Wong?
I love that she not only did she come back in the past, but she also came back as a ghost in this one.
Yeah. Which
Oh my
she
God.
does in the movie. So.
I cannot believe that she used the Star Trek Generations Guinan excuse, where she's like, think of me as an echo. I'm like, an echo? That's the nonsense explanation that Guinan Ghost says in the Nexus. Are you self-referential? Like, are you making a joke about Star Trek? So stupid. But whatever. The Ancient One, I'm like, she's the exposition machine. I get it. She's there to do that. And she needs to be more powerful than Doctor Strange to be able to split him in half anyway. So, like, sure. But I love this episode. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed like the twists and the turns and the cyclical nature of the conflict, and the fact that like we leave him at the end as a potentially powerful villain that could show up again.
Who also has no world now. So he might just turn into like the Maker in comics, where he's hunting a world and is strong enough to survive, but still lost Rachel.
I mean,
she was in
our reality has a Steven and a Rachel, and our Steven couldn't care less about her. So
Her name is Christine.
Oh, right.
Just-
Is it?
Rachel McAdams.
You're right. It
The
was
character's
Christine.
Christine.
What the hell? Why are you calling her Rachel?
That's the actor.
Calling her.
Yeah,
Rachel
that's her name.
McAdams is the actor.
Okay. I won't lie. I felt a little sad. Like when once we got to the realization he couldn't save her, and I thought about it before H1 said it. I'm like, because he wouldn't have the time travel powers. He wouldn't be able to do this if she didn't die. That makes sense. And then H1's like, you wouldn't become Doctor Strange. I'm like, I figured it out 1 minute ago.
Right. See, I thought it was going to be like you can save her, but you have to just give up your hands.
Oh yeah, go the alternate route.
Yeah, and it's like, nah. let's just ruin everything.
I kind of assumed this is how it was going to end. I don't think like consciously I was like, it's going to end like this, but like it made sense to me just because this, like from the get-go, the watcher was like, this one's different. Like this one's kind of messed up. And that's how a lot of what ifs end up, I guess, where it's just like, let's do darker because that's fun.
Right.
And there's like, it doesn't matter. Like that's why I love What If, and that's why I think this episode works so well.
Yeah.
Is just like, it's like, who cares? That's the point.
Yeah, who cares? No, I completely agree. I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. I like the implications of the future. Evil Doctor Strange or sad Doctor Strange, sadder, makes for a fun...
He never was truly evil, though.
No. He's just misguided. And then he seems remorseful at the end. I mean, he says I'm sorry a lot, but like, we'll see. They didn't kill him off. I think there's a reason for that.
Right. Well, like I said, he's not even evil. Yes, what he did was evil. Yes, he's using evil powers. But even when he was fighting against himself, it was, no, we're two of one. One of us has to succeed with the plan. Like,
yeah.
So, last thing I want to comment on, I like how, even though apparently everything was the same, he didn't get the cape, so the evil Strange could get an evil cape.
Of course. Which works the same for some reason, even though that's not how that cape works.
Cape. I don't.
Right?
But it's got more of a cowl thing going on. Like
was that the Bug Supreme? Like, is that a Bug Sorcerer?
I like that guy. I wanted to see more of that guy.
I like how he took the cape. Bugs are too much for me. Like, what?
Yeah, he doesn't want to eat a bug. Why, dude? You're eating like tentacle monsters.
Yeah. So I hope that Bug Sorcerer Supreme reaches the same status as Alligator Loki, because he had that cape.
Do you think they're just making an animal version of every character to eventually do like animal Avengers?
Yeah, the Pet Avengers.
The Pet Avengers.
That's actually what comes out of What If. Not like a fun like the Watcher style Dark Avengers. It's the Pet Avengers.
Yeah.
Would you watch the Pet Avengers?
Absolutely, I would watch the Pet Avengers. Are you kidding? Sounds great.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed our recap on What If Episode 4. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? I remembered it.
You got
it. I'm Benny. That is Sal. And that is Dylan. Check back every day for our discussions on everything going on in the world of Marvel, DC, and other superhero-themed products. And occasionally we'll just watch movies, because we do that too.